Hey everybody, Andrew Hogue here, your security, privacy, and forensics expert. And today I'm going to start on part 4 of developing a Hacker News reader with GitHub Copilot X. Today, unfortunately, is Developer Housekeeping Day. I've been putting off things like setting up proper source control, a developer workflow using GitHub Actions that will work well for not just myself, but if I ever have multiple developers. And lastly, support for things like Swift inside VSCode and Vim bindings. So normally I would hop out to Google or Stack Overflow, but instead I'm really just going to try to use Copilot Chat and see if it can walk me through the steps that I need to do. All right, let's dive right in. So the first thing that I want to work on is setting up Swift support inside the editor so that I can have things like autocomplete of different functions. This uses an LSP, a language server provider. And I'm used to setting that up in things like NeoVim, but since I'm new to VS Code, I need to figure out how to do it here. Now, the first time around, I did some basic searches under extensions, and I'm trying to remember what it was called. It wasn't actually just called Swift, I believe. No, actually it is called Swift. So this actually looks different than the first time around. I'm not exactly sure why, but again, I'm going to pop back here real quick and let's just come into chat and see what it has to say. So how do I set up Swift language support in VS Code? Okay, install Xcode, which we have, and then install the Swift language extension, okay, by Apple. Install the Code Runner extension so that it allows you to run code snippets directly in Visual Code. I don't know if I need that, but whatever. So Swift language and then Code Runner. And then I'm going to have to configure the Swift path in my preferences. Okay. And then create a new Swift file. And then the syntax highlighting should work. Oh, and then you can run it. All right, cool. Let's give it a whirl. So first things first, let's come back up to extensions and again, search for Swift. And this one is so I'm trying to figure out if this is the official one. It doesn't say it's done by Apple per se, but it's the Swift Server Working Group, so that sounds pretty good. I think I've seen this guy's name before, but in any event, I am going to go with the top hit. It's been a decent number of downloads and happy people, so let's go ahead and install this. Okay, Code LDB requires the correct Swift version. Do you want to set this up in your global settings? Yep. Now I thought I was going to have to configure something, but it perhaps just did the setup for me. So let's come back to Copilot Chat. Okay, and all right, the Code Runner. Again, I don't think I really need this, but I'm going to do it anyway. All right, so we can run all kinds of different code. Let's see. Oh, this is pretty popular. And all right, well, let's just install this. Okay. Back to chat. Okay, configure the Swift path. So we're going to go to Code Preferences Setting. All right, we can do Command plus. Oh, no, not Command plus. Now, let's just come up here to Code Insiders. It's not really preferences settings. It could be different because I'm on the Insiders version, or maybe these are just a little bit out of date. Anyway, we're going to search for the Swift path, and then we'll set it to the default location. Okay. Oh, I get it. Command plus comma. I should have known that since I'm a Mac user. Anyway, Okay, let's search for Swift path. The default is to look into path, so I don't think I'll actually need this. And I know there's a way to run terminal in VS Code. I don't know how to do it right now, so I'm just going to pop out to iTerm, which is my preference. Swift is user bin Swift. Let's just see if it's in our path. Well, it's going to be in our path because I could do Swift-version. So actually, I'm not going to set this because it's going to look for it in path. And I'm just going to leave it as is right now. So close down that setting. Close these down. Okay. Create a new Swift file. And well, actually, these are already Swift files. And then I could run it with Control-Alt-N or Command-Option-N. And I don't think any of these will work because they're really inside a iOS application. Let's just come over to one of these guys and let's just say we create a new class. Okay, let's see. Okay, yep, this is definitely working because here's observable object. Last time I had to type this by hand. It'd be funny to see what Copilot does with this. It's pulling in my top stories again and pretty much recreating the code that we've already seen. So I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of this. But awesome, that was really easy. That is up and running. So the next thing that I want to do is figure out how to enable Vim bindings. Okay, to enable Vim bindings, install the Vim extension, configure it with Command comma, and then you can customize it. Start using Vim. You can switch between Vim and normal WoW with escape. Okay, so basically just Vim extension. This has got 5 million people, so that's cool. So there's some different settings here that I am not going to mess with right now. So I'm just going to take the defaults and, we'll see what happens. And since this is going so well, let me ask how I run terminal. Okay, open the terminal. You can go view terminal or you can press Command Shift. Command Shift plus. Nope. Did it again. All right, let's just go to view terminal. It's actually Control backtick. Okay. So this is cool. And I guess it's my standard terminal and I'm inside my current directory, which is kind of nice because then I don't have to have the window manager tile out and resize my IDE. So, oh, and it has like everything in there with the shell. Cool. Okay. I think that was Control backtick. Yep. Okay, cool. All right, so developer housekeeping, that went pretty quick. And Copilot Chat made it really easy for me just to, again, stay in my IDE, ask the questions, follow along, and then just kind of move on with my next chat. So normally I'm thinking about these things in terms of like coding, refactoring, fixing issues. But, setting up a developer environment, developer experience is super important. And it's great that this is just kind of a one-stop shop for asking these questions. The last thing that I'm really interested in working on is like setting up Git support, which again, I'm primarily used to doing in the terminal. Actually, I'm exclusively used to doing it in the terminal. I know there's support built into VS Code, and so maybe I'll ask a little bit about that. And then I need to create like a new repo and potentially even just kind of start over here because I want to just do this project from the get-go. There's really not that much that I've coded so far. And one of the things is I've learned that like when you know how to prompt Copilot or you already have a pretty good idea of the structure that you want, things can go really fast. So actually, I'm just going to cut this video off and keep it short. And then I'll go on to part 5 where I set up a Git flow and developer environment. Thanks so much for watching and see you soon.